Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another video of the F122 Driver Crew Mode with Red Bull, episode number 47 today for the Austrian Grand Prix of Season 3, round number 9. If you missed the previous episode, the British Grand Prix, I recommend going to check that before seeing that one. Huge battles between the championship leaders, between myself, Verstappen, and then later in the race also Verstappen and my teammate Charles Leclerc as well. But coming into this episode, then we got to renegotiate our contract for the rest of the season with Red Bull. This should be just a formality, but we are going to go medium risk so we can spend a bit more on the perk fund and get $500,000 more. Although it doesn't actually mean anything because it's $500,000 that goes to the perk fund. Resource point income, that's the one we're going to spend it on, get a bit more R&D out of the weekend, basically, especially as we're overdue a regulation change in this career mode. Speaking of R&D, major brakes upgrade. We haven't done any of those so far, so that's going on. McLaren have surely brought an ultimate upgrade though to this race. Ferrari as well, although Ferrari haven't really shown up, have they? They've only had a slimmer with Sainz as well, and then our Mercedes behind again struggling. Alpine finally bring an upgrade as well, and Aston Martin put Williams back to last place. I suspect Williams need a department upgrade as well before they can upgrade these stupid things where it doesn't trigger the game to say, okay, we've reached the R&D potential, but maybe they're waiting, maybe they're foreseeing this regulation change. Who knows? But anyway, moving to qualifying, obviously it's a sprint weekend. Rather annoyingly, unlike normal weekends, there's no they take the medium compound tyre because they give you 3 sets of soft tyres for qualifying, but then if you try and save a set for something, then something later in the weekend like the sprint or the main race, the game takes that away from you, and you have to use it in the sprint actually, because the game allocates you a medium tyre for the sprint. Don't ask me why. I mean, in real life, half the grid uses soft tyres anyway, so we should have that choice, but alas, the Codemasters decided that the player doesn't deserve that choice. Anyway, I've gone on a rant, I do apologise. Back to qualifying, we're sort of falling down. We're in Austria. It should be a strong track, on paper, but up to the line, it's only a 10.5 improvement. And it's only enough for P11. So yeah, not the greatest of starts to the weekend, but of course it's a sprint weekend as well. Leclerc only P3, Verstappen P4. We do have a bit of a margin, but it is so tight. If you a couple of tenths more, and it would be well inside. I mean, a 10.5 more and would have been P6. So I can't be too disappointed with that. As well, confirmation there of the tyres for this weekend as well. So, we'll see what we can do. From length of the grid, time for the sprint.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he will start from pole position. And the smooth operator, Carlos Sainz, completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Verstappen, Esteban Ocon, and Ricciardo, Vettel, Russell, Hamilton, and Pierre Gasly, Phoenix, Albon, Robert Schwartzman, and Magnussen, Joe, Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, and Mick Schumacher, Stroll, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Hopefully we can get points. I mean, we should be able to do from 11th on the grid. Confirmation, everybody on soft tyres for this sprint. It's a 6-lap sprint, so you shouldn't be on any other compound really. As well. So 5 red lights and away we go for the sprint. Mediocre start. Albon's going to come home inside the Williams, as it will Magnussen. We're going to try and keep to the outside. Fed the need around the outside of Hamilton. Try not to avoid that sort of scourge, which will give you floor damage up to P9. Exactly the start that we need. Next up at turn 3, down the inside of Russell. Almost going into the back of Ricardo and Vettel, but not quite able to keep the position. And up already, and it's only been 3 corners, we're in the points. As we're watching Leclerc, I think that's Sainz and Verstappen going 3 wide at turn 3. Leclerc cuts in front of Verstappen, and Sainz is able to keep the position, but I think Verstappen will eventually get in front of Leclerc as well. Norris streaks away. We're going to double dive on here. That's so slow as well. Move up to P6 and knock on Vettel. Caught them a bit napping here as well. So it really did, went just so slow through that corner. Up to turn 3, we're able to take full advantage. As behind us, we've got the 2 AlphaTauris battling with Robert Schwartzman in the Alfa Romeo as well. Schwartzman, there's a lock-up from Gasly, and then that has taken Magnussen's front wing, and K-Mag gets full revenge by chipping off Gasly's front wing as well. And the resulting mess of that is that Gasly then comes around, has to do a full lap without a front wing, and Latifi crashes into him on the way on that corner as well. They haven't fixed that corner despite what they said. Down the inside, as Latifi was crashing out, and up the inside of Ricciardo, and that's P5. As Ricciardo did not want to give me any space whatsoever at turn 1, but we forced the issue anyway as well. But that is as high as we can get in the sprint. I definitely will take P5, a lot better than P11 as well. That's the advantage of having a sprint race weekend, basically. If you have a poor qualifying, there's a big chance to redeem yourself, and P5 will take the points. We've got pretty much enough in hand anyway in the championship, get driver of the day as well. So overall, I'm very happy with that. 4 points as well. Leclerc only gets 6, so that's the double advantage. There's reduced points for the sprint as well. Maybe a couple more laps, we probably would have been on the back of the people in front, like Sainz, Leclerc, our teammate Leclerc maybe. But it's fine. Leclerc takes 2 points out of us and reduces the lead to 5 points at the top. Time for the race.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg, and to a circuit that in one form or the other has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost the bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Phoenix, Daniel Ricciardo and Vettel, Ocon, Russell, Hamilton and Robert Schwartzman, Leclerc, Tsunoda, Kevin Magnussen and Albon, Bottas, Gasly, Lance Stroll and Guan Yu Zhou, Latifi and Mick Schumacher. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat, Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
OK, now that we've got some good points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Well, Leclerc has a penalty, of course, so that's dropped him way down. This is our time to get, advantage to get a podium, basically. Take an even bigger lead at the top. So 5 red lights then for the main race of Austria, and away we go. And it's once again it's a poor start, basically. As usual on this game, Ricciardo tries to go on the outside. Ricciardo locks a rear brake, and we're up to retain P4 for now. The Sainz and Verstappen are still going side by side. They leave the door open on the inside. Up the inside, there's contact with Verstappen, as he doesn't want to give up the position to me. But in the end, we forced the issue there. We needed to get that done. We couldn't be stuck behind. This is our chance to get. They were slow behind them, and in the end, it was a bit of ping pong between myself and Sainz on Verstappen. I'm sure one of them's got front wing damage, and I think that's actually Sainz there who has front wing damage. Vettel going a bit slowly. He's been shoved out by Ricciardo, and Schwartzman's had a great start. He's up in the points for Alfa Romeo. As Sainz confirmation, Sainz does come in there. There's a virtual safety car deployed. I'm not entirely sure why there was, but basically the lap later, Ricciardo is coming in, and just like Latifi in the sprint, Schwartzman, he was doing so well in the Alfa Romeo. He got scored 1 point so far in this season. Alfa Romeo have. But nevertheless, unfortunately for them, Schwartzman is out. Back to our POV, lap number 3. We've set a purple first sector, but we're not so good in the medium sector. And that is Zhou making contact at that corner. I think, has he got broken suspension or something's broken, because I think he's pulling off. And that's both Alfa Romeos out as well. Behind us, Leclerc's going 3 wide again. This time with Sainz and Ocon. As well, not Sainz and Ocon, Vettel and Ocon, excuse me. And Vettel will drag race Ocon down to turn 4. We'll have the inside line as well. We're coming in the pits at the end of lap 6 then. Verstappen in the end. We're growing the gap on him and Russell. Hamilton not having the pace as well, which is a shame. That Mercedes car, to be fair, is very slow in a straight line, so there. 2.2 second stop, not bad. As well, Sonoda's coming in as well. Not Sonoda, Ocon, excuse me. He's working around in P10, so we've actually kept in the points. Sainz there pitted early, obviously for that front wing damage, but this is the advantage of a 25% race. Because if you can get yourself into clear air, even with the front wing damage, while you're on those fresher tyres, you can use them. And this is Max Verstappen coming out, and there is Carlos Sainz. And is Verstappen going to be in front of Sainz? Just about. So Verstappen, a slow stop or anything, and that would be now. We're watching Lando Norris, who isn't the race lead, because Sonoda and one of the Alpha Tauris, I think that's Magnussen, are doing started on medium compound tyres. Eventually, both of them will come in on laps later, and we jump to lap 16. Did manage to get the gap down to 1.4, 1.2 ish, but unfortunately, fuel was an issue again. So that's a real shame. We had to lift off, and in the end, it was comfortable for Norris. But we'll definitely take P2. It's a big hole of points compared to Leclerc. Verstappen is behind us as well, so we've grown the gap to him as well. So for us, it's a win-win. Sainz gets driver of the day, unquestionably, after being pretty much last at lap 1. As well, but for the race, Leclerc did recover to P8. Vettel and Ocon in the end did finish in front of them, but the two battling then couldn't get in front of Ricciardo as well. And I think Mercedes will definitely take P5 and P6 at a let's say, a engine powered track, which they are very slow in a straight line as well. So standings wise, it's a 19-point lead now over Verstappen, over Leclerc. Verstappen is a race win behind now as well. And then Norris, anyone of like Norris, Russell or Sainz, if they get a bit of a run on, then they could join us at the front, but we'll have to wait and see. Constructors wise, clear in front as well. Alfa Romeo would have got in front of Haas had Schwartzman finished the race, but alas, didn't do. Rivalry wise, Hamilton hasn't unfortunately been revitalised, so we're comfortably in front of that as well. So yes, Norris, 2 wins in 4 races now. He had a poor start to the season, apart from that podium at Bahrain. Where he was one of the form drivers at the start of season 2, and is now rediscovering that form. But he needs to get more podiums as well. Ricciardo as well, starting to get a bit of momentum behind him. 3 points finishes in a row for him as well. So yes, that's where I'm going to leave it today's video. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already to see plenty more F1 22 Drive Crew Mode and other F1 22 gameplay as and when they come out. Next episode will be Hungary. That episode will be out on Thursday. So until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your day and goodbye.